starts.
You are live. You are live.
What's that from? Black Mirror? What is that?
You are live.
You're alive?
You can live. You are live.
I am Liv. Live Golf. There it is. Hey, guys. What's up, people in the chat?
Hey.
Welcome to Darth Amin's Rule of Two. I am your Sith Lord, Darth Amin. I'm joined, as always, by my apprentice, Darth Cornpuzzle, a.k.a. Anthony Mays. This is the podcast, or it's a live show now. We're doing it live on YouTube, where we break down all the new releases from Star Wars. So right now we are reviewing Season 2 of Andor, episodes 7, 8, and 9. That's right, folks. I'm doing 3 episodes at a time over the span of 4 weeks. Not great for in-depth breakdowns, but great for feeling like you just watched the movie. And I would think that if this were a Star Wars movie, Maze, the name of this episode of this episode of the movies, right, of this, not trilogy, because there's 4 of them, is the Ghorman Massacre, right? This is what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of overarching plot, this is the most straightforward 3 episodes you could have. It's like, well, Cassian's going to go try to assassinate Dedra on Gorman.
Mm-hmm.
The Gorman Massacre happens, and then Mon has to give a speech and get the
political
fuck
fallout.
out.
Yeah, the political fallout and the escape.
She's got to get into the Senate, and then they've got to heist her out of there, and then bing bang boom. That's it. That's the whole story. And it was incredible,
Mm-hmm.
and it was emotional apparently for you. We'll find out where exactly.
Incredibly emotional.
And it was so well executed, man. And there's some specific things that I'm excited to talk about at some point that show how well considered and constructed this show is from beginning to end, from episode 1 to episode 24. It's such an achievement. I mean, people are saying best Star Wars thing, period.
Might be period, yeah. I'm there.
Like in terms of execution, I think so.
I think I'm there. And that it's better than the original trilogy. And I never thought I would ever watch anything in Star Wars that I loved more than Empire Strikes Back. I might be there, man. I might be there. They got me. They got me hook, line, and sinker like Tony Burton was in this. That's how much it touched deep into my soul. I want to start though, Maze, with the thing I said right before we went on air, which is I read that this project, Season 2 of Andor, officially costs more than Rise of Skywalker did. It is a very expensive endeavor. It's the most expensive television show that Disney Plus has ever undertaken. And that's a very important distinction because given that they're dropping 3 episodes a week for 4 weeks, and given that the runtime of approximately each 3 episode arc is about 2 hours.
And this was the longest one.
Yes. Basically, what they're giving us is 4 movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving us 4 movies, each of which costs roughly on average $75 million, which in that context, you're like, holy shit. They made a Star Wars movie for $75 million?
Mm-hmm.
They would make it the cheapest of the stuff. By comparison, Empire Strikes Back in today money costs upwards of $90 million. So they really did their thing. The difference is they didn't get a theatrical release to make up for doing their thing. But in terms of bang for the buck, in terms of the content, flawless. I don't have any. I mean, let me ask you, Mace, because you have a keener eye than I do. Any qualms about CGI or backdrops or special effects or practical effects or anything like that?
Definitely not. I mean, what we talk about and what everybody talks about is the production design. Like they built it. They built Gorman. And that's one of the reasons why when you go into this block of episodes and it's a full-on police state and it's occupied, but you have the context of what it looked like in the last year, where it's a hustling, bustling center of town with cafes and with fashion shops and with Syril's office. And you see, you can literally see the difference. Like they aged it, they changed the set, and you can really feel how different life on Gorman is because of things like that. I mean, I was trying to figure out where they shot the Senate stuff, especially when we get that wide shot of like Cassian and Mon running at the very end. Like they're running down that staircase. How did they CGI? What's CGI? What's real? I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Stairs. They use stairs.
They use
like
stairs.
Murder. They try to solve a murder. That's what they did. Mike Weisberg in the chat says Rise of Skywalker is $460 million. We're not counting marketing. We're just going off of straight production costs. The straight production cost of Rise of Skywalker was $275 million. So any $400 million note you see, that is including all the marketing budget. We're not counting that.
Mark Pietris, no desert. We didn't go to we didn't go to Tatooine on this one.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So
I mean, I'll say it like not in terms of production, but the only real like criticism I have that felt probably more in these three than the rest is we have to tie shit up with what's coming. So there was a couple times where it's like, okay, like we're only doing this because of Rogue One, or we're only doing this because of the original trilogy, and you know. I think one good point was Bail Organa, right?
Yes.
Bail Organa's 3 guys that he gets are suspect, and if we don't know what's coming next, Bail Organa is under the microscope of, can we trust this dude?
Yes.
He's suspicious. Are we paranoid about his involvement? But because we know that he's such a good guy, such a good senator, all reliable, we have no doubts about his involvement. It's got to come from an outside source.
So this was how I felt about the scene where Syril finally runs into Cassian and attacks him and starts beating him and bashing his head. And there was a split second, I was like, oh shit. Then I was like, he's not gonna die. I know he's not gonna die.
Plot armor.
So there was, but it's not really, it's really, I guess it is plot armor. Usually plot armor is when they're protecting because they don't have anything better and they don't want to lose the main character. In this case, it's literal plot armor.
Yeah.
Because we know the plot involves him later for a fact. Yes. So in this case, he was actually armored by the plot. But it didn't take away the tension for me. The tension, and particularly even as they're fighting, and I'm like, as they're fighting, I'm thinking, how is Syril gonna get away? Then when he got the drop on him, and I know we're out of order here, but I want to talk about this scene. As he got the drop on him, he's got the blaster, and Cassian is dead to rights. Then I was like, okay. I thought Wilman was going to be the one who's going to shoot him in the head, because Wilman had been searching for Cassian the whole time, and then we find out it's the aristocrat from Gorman.
Yeah, Carol.
But even that, Maze, they found a way to make that predictable scene more awesome with one line, which is, as it's dead to rights Cassian's not begging for his life. Cassian's not even doing the cool guy, get it over with or whatever. He looks at him and he's like, yo, who the fuck are you? He has no idea who Syril is. Syril has been obsessed with this guy for 4 years.
Devastating.
Cassian has no idea. Not in a disrespectful, not in a John Hamm in Mad Men, I don't think of you at all kind of way. In a real, no, seriously, dog, I haven't thought of you at all in my life since I left barracks. I didn't. And then it made me struggle. Maze, did he ever cross paths with Syril?
Yeah.
They did see each other earlier.
Yeah. Yes, and it's one of the things that I really like, the through lines that I really want to hit. But I believe it's in the first 3. I believe on Ferrix, when Syril gives the pump up speech to the homies that goes so badly, then they confront each other on Ferrix in episode 3.
They do see each other face to face, is what you're saying.
Brusco says he had his back to him. I mean, I think, I don't think he definitely, if he saw him once, where Syril is looking at him on the holocrons and is fixated on this dude.
Syril is obsessed with this dude. This dude ruined his life for all intents and purposes, right? But I don't know if the opposite is true. If Cassian,
why would it be?
I don't think. There's part of me was like, oh, of course, Cassian's done so much shit in the last 4 years. Why would he remember him? And then I was like, no, man, I think he doesn't. He never fucking met this guy, which is weird. This is like when you hear someone from high school hated you, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. Right?
Yeah. WVU grad in the chat. On Ferrix, they're in a doorway. Cyril's crouching, and Cassian is behind him.
So Cassian never sees his face.
Yeah. So there you go.
Got it. All right, that makes sense. The other thing that is similar to that, not similar to that, but also a thing that really stood out to me over the 3 episodes was Syril having an attack of real conscience.
Oh yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we doing here in Gorman? Dedra doing the I'm doing the party line shit. And Syril, for all intents and purposes, domestically violencing her.
I mean, I was thinking in real time when I'm watching these episodes a lot about our Syril and Dedra evil conversation that we had last time. Because it's like they heard us and they're like, oh, you think what's up with these people? Let's flip it on its head and make you question it all.
We were both right, Maze, in a way.
Yeah.
Because Dedra really is fucking evil.
Well, but even her is waffling.
She has an attack of conscience towards. Yeah. I mean, throughout the episode when she tells him to open fire and all that stuff, like she's waffling through it. You're right. But she's more able to convince herself this is the right thing to do than Syril, who clearly is like, what the fuck are we doing here? Right? Like Cyril's not down to go with the plan. He has a serious attack of conscience, right? Which is contrasted by Dedra's relative lack of or attack of conscience. She's like, oh my God, maybe this is a lot harder than I thought. Whereas Cyril's like, yo, what the fuck are we doing here? Right? Number one. And then number two, just as you start to reconcile those two different sides of the coin, like she's evil, he's not. He domestically violences her. He chokes her. And I was like, whoa, I don't know if I want to root for Syril right now. It kind of flipped the whole situation. I'm like, yo, yeah, it's fucked up, Syril. But I'm like, wait a second, you're fucking awful over there too. And it just made me feel all kind of conflicting feelings.
Yeah, so mission accomplished. I mean, I thought it was brilliant because Syril thinks, last arc, he gets the old pat on the back and he is pumping his pants with self-accomplishment, and it's the best day of his life. He got a thumbs up from Partagaz. Like, yes, you did it, buddy. And so in the year that's transpired, he's been double agenting it up, and he's been what he believes is trying to sniff out outside involvement, right? Like trying to foster it and sniff it out.
He thought they were setting a trap for, like, not for Andor specifically, but for those types of people.
Yeah, for Axis, for the rebellion.
He did not realize this was all one big ruse to get the people the fuck off of Gorman. That's all this whole thing was. It had nothing to do with Axis. It had nothing to do with outside agitators. It had everything to do with we need to eminent domain this planet, basically.
Yeah, and Raphael Armand in the chat, that's why Partagaz said you were threading a fine needle. Yeah, so talking to Dedra has to play Syril, manipulate Syril into playing a role, and she does, and tricks him into thinking that he's doing it while also having an ulterior motive ulterior motive. And so that's starting to come down for Syril because he's realizing this is not what I thought I've been doing this whole time. I've been played by my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right.
When he screamed, "How long?" I was taken aback. I felt like Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction, going like, "Look at the brains on Brad." Like, I was very impressed that Syril could even reach that level of conscience. I'll go, but also that level of rage, like not towards her and not towards, and really when he's got that rage, it's not just towards her, Baze. It's towards the Empire.
Yes.
It's towards the thing that he devoted his entire life to being, right? Like being a part of this shit and standing up for this shit.
Because he's a chump. He's a patsy. And even though he has been down for the cause to a tremendous degree up to this point, he doesn't want to be chumped. And he gets chumped. And I love the scene where she gives him the kiss to shut him the fuck up. And it's both of them are like, what? Like he can't believe she did it. She's like, oh, well, I guess I'll try sexuality. Like, I don't know what else is gonna work here. Just go pack your bag, honey. Like, we're gonna get a promotion out of this. Like, it's all gonna be all good. We're gonna go back to Coruscant. It's gonna be great. And so then, then he comes back, he chokes her, she tells him the truth, and then he leaves. He storms out into the square and the plaza, and he's on the verge of flipping, right? Because like he's been embedded with the Gorman front for a year. He has a little bit of sympathy for these people, and he
has a conversation with the aristocrat dude whose name escapes me, right? Like in the street when he's like, I don't know what this is about, and the guy starts basically exposing Syril's complicit ignorance. Well, you think I'm just walking around believing rumors and shit? Like this thing is happening.
The drills are on the ground, homie. Like, what's in the ground? Cut the shit. So then when he's in the square, he's teetering on the edge. Is he going to have a redemption arc? Is he going to join the rebellion? Right. Is he going to join the Gorman front? And like he is kind of standing there in a daze for a little too long to not catch like a stray bullet or whatever, but whatever. He's soaking it in. And then right before he can fucking flip, he sees Cassian. And it all comes rushing back to him. And he's like, this motherfucker, like finally, like he's here. This is my moment. Great fight in the cafe. Like you feel it. You feel it's visceral, like you said, plot armor and all that. But yeah, it's like this Syril is fucking going for it. And the who are you cuts him off at the knees.
Oh my God.
It's all meaningless.
Yeah, he realized
his entire life, everything that he's done up to this point is completely meaningless. Flipping sides would be meaningless. Working for the Empires would be meaningless. And that hesitation, that moment of like complete depression, he gets shot and it's it. I mean, it's like the roller coaster of emotions that I went on with this motherfucker, Syril Karn. I still can't believe it. Like it's such a triumph from writing, from the actor. Like they nailed it. They made me think more about him, who essentially was an Imperial patsy, than I ever would have thought.
I got checking in by the text line is Ryan Rucco, who's on his way to do Pacers Cavs, saying, I'm not sure I've ever felt emotionally what I felt in episode 9. And
wow. I wonder if you guys had the same emotional moment.
I did. But Maze, it's weird. I'm going to tell you what the emotional moment for me was. It was Mon Mothma getting ready to do her speech on the Senate floor, and me beginning to realize, I shouldn't begin to realize, but once she started talking about I need to do this speech, I knew the Ghorman Massacre was her breaking point. But it reminded me of the scene from Rebels, of her giving that speech basically to the universe, to the galaxy, about like, I can't stand by this shit anymore. And I realized, oh my God, this is happening right now. And at the time, at the moment, I was like, "Oh my god, is she going to do a verbatim repeat of the speech she did in Rebels?" Because again, Genevieve O'Reilly, who's the actor who plays Mon Mothma, played Mon Mothma in Rebels. So I'm like, "Oh, is this what's going on right here?" And then it was like, "No, that's not the same speech." But then later on, you get the scene where Cassian is asked, are you going to watch her speech that she's escaped now and watch her speech she's going to give to the Empire, to the Republic or whatever? And Cassian says, "No, I already heard her speak." And for some reason, that made me quiver, man.
Wow.
It was such a cool moment. It was the bringing together of all the different things that I felt. And again, this, like I said, might have surpassed everything for me in terms of Star Wars. But in part, it's because of how it brought it all together, right? Whether it was obviously the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, Rogue One, what we're leading into, but then also Rebels, like that whole tying together all of this, bringing it all together, making it seamless and not forced and not corny. It was just beautiful and magical. And there was a point where I was just like, wow, man, way to bring everything together. And for it to be done by someone who is a self-avowed, I don't give a fuck about no Star Wars. Because Tony Gilroy is not a Star Wars fan, right? He was given a task to write us a story for a movie. They gave him the story idea. The name of the guy escapes me who came up with the idea. I want to say he was one of the editors or something. He was like, "Hey, man, like, how did these guys ever get the Death Star plans?" And that's where they got the idea. We should do a movie about it. And then they brought in Tony Gilroy, who, as Maze has brought up before, he's known for these spy thrillers like Michael Clayton. And that's how he got involved in all this. But he wasn't like, I went and saw Star Wars on opening night in 1970. He wasn't one of those guys. I mean, he's aware of its existence, but not like to the point where it's like he would feel the care. And I think that's the big thing for me. Usually when they say, hey, this person, like Ron Howard, I'm like, I didn't feel the care from him on Solo. Tony Gilroy fucking cared about making this story make sense, but not like just taking shortcuts because should I feel beholden to this piece of shit that I don't give a fuck about? Like, he cared that it all fit together. And for all of these things, including, by the way, how K2SO is found and captured and eventually reprogrammed, all of that. But Mace, I want to get away from kind of glazing Tony Gilroy and the making of the show to, how about my guy Wilman getting a little action, going to Gorman, get some Gorman tail,
huh? Dude. He should have died. I'm sorry. I hate to say it to you, woman. You already cost us Brasso. Your fucking pussy crushing counting obsession is going to bring down the rebellion, Wilman.
Wait, how did he cost us Brasso again?
He went after the farm girl.
Exactly. I love the fact that in the middle of a rebellion, you've got this guy who is a very high level operative in terms of his skill set, his technical skill set, using it just as an avenue to get ass. Will was chasing ass left and right across a rebellion. Shout out to him, man.
So
someone's got to do it.
I do really appreciate how subtle they reveal it, because that's another, like, this show is so efficient, right? Like, the exposition is not, let's sit down and tell you exactly why Wilman decided to go crush puss. It's like he has a glance at Drina when he's talking to Cassian on the radio. Next time he talks to Cassian, he and Drina have spent the evening together in some luxury cots down in the radio room.
Yeah. Yes.
And then later when Cassian's like, we gotta go, he's like, nope, I gotta go back for Drina. And
he's a lover, not a fighter.
The one thing that I do,
despite
his stupidity about this, I do appreciate how it shines a light on Cassian's own Achilles heel, which is Bix.
Bix, yep. I want to take a second here to acknowledge in the chat, Sic Mundus Creatus Est says about Wilman, he's got a type. I mean, if the type is just woman and blonde woman, yeah, but they're very different types.
Space blondes.
I'll just say that. Space blondes. Shout out to Bix, by the way. God damn it. Were you surprised that Bix leaves Cassian?
Yeah, so I wanted to get to this because that is definitely like well, we got to get rid of her some way. And so in a surprising way, she chooses to leave. And I will say that it did make me reconsider like Cassian in Rogue One and like the handhold with Jyn Erso. I never read that as romantic, you know?
No, I thought that was on purpose. They purposely said like kind of, hey, I know you guys think they're gonna like they love each other, but it's not that kind of relationship. And it's one of the things I really appreciated.
Yeah.
About it through the end. But
it made me think like Bix was waiting for him, you know? Like Bix was waiting for him at the end of the rebellion or whatever. I mean, obviously there's always one more job with the rebellion, but
so
it was a curious decision. It was unexpected for sure.
Allow me to present if Bix had died versus Bix leaving him and telling him when this thing is over, we'll get back together again. I don't think her dying would have presented the same amount of angst and hurt and pain
that
he exhibits in Rogue One. Like when Jyn is all fucking whining about whatever, and he's like, you're not the only fucking one who lost people through this, right? Like, I think that's what it is. It's like, yo, I lost my girl over this shit, man. Not like, oh, she died and I have closure, but on some, yeah, as long as I'm not down with all of this. I'm down, like, I believe in the cause, but I'm not down to be part of the cause. And then, like, that, I kind of feel like that would provide a pain for him that would necessitate that. No?
I mean, yeah, it's an interesting question. I think if, say, if she dies in Cassian's arms on some mission or some attack or something like that, you're probably getting a more angry Cassian, right? Like a little less focused Cassian, a little more reckless Cassian,
right?
And it gets a little more like dicey. Does he get out of the situation he's in if his love is taken from him violently in his arms? I mean, I expected her to die almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've been waiting for her to. I won't lie.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm like, how's she gonna die? How's she gonna die?
So sort of this is like a definitely a happier ending for her specifically. Maybe, I don't know, but in terms of like, I really want the rebellion to succeed, and I know how important you are to the rebellion. And so I know the best thing that I can do for the rebellion is to take myself out of this completely so that you can focus on work.
Which is true. Like, she was always going to be a distraction and someone who is going to prevent him from fulfilling his full potential. If Bix was waiting at home, would Cassian had made the ultimate sacrifice that he did on Scarif?
I mean, we'd have to say through what this show has been telling us, absolutely not. Yeah. But I want to take that and connect it back to the Force Healer from episode 7.
Oh my God. Like, here's the thing. This is the part where Star Wars is a little contradictory, or maybe not. I'll ask you, Maze. The Republic and Order 66 fall in 19 BBY. Is it possible within a decade and some change that everyone has forgotten everything? Like, it's not, Jedi, bad people. Like, the way Star Wars has been presented, it's like most of the population, like, who the fuck are the Jedi? And the ones that remember them fondly. Like, oh yeah, they were kind of cool. And so I've that's one of those things I've struggled with. I haven't outright said, oh, that doesn't make sense with the way you guys are behaving now. But I'm like, would people forget shit altogether? Would they remember it with a nostalgia that they didn't remember it at the time? Right. And so an example of this that is longer than 19 years is I got in a conversation on Levitar show today about we had the kid Miro on, and we asked him, is Jalen Brunson the most popular Nick of all time? And he said yes. No, he said no. He said, excuse me. He said no. No, that's disrespectful to Patrick Ewing. Did you see how Patrick Ewing walked in to the game, gave 2 and all that shit? And I'm like, and I called him a liar. And I said lies, deceptions, because I was doing my Saul Guerrero thing. But the reason why I said that is because I remember how Patrick Ewing was thought of actively as a player. And he was great. Everyone loved it when the Knicks did well. But as soon as they did poorly, it was awful. Like, awful negativity to the point where he was like, I don't sign autographs. I don't take pictures with people. I don't trust any of you people. Because he'd been hurt so many times in the way that the cruelty of a fan base that should have like serenaded him, right? In retrospect, now, whenever Patrick Ewing's at Madison Square Garden, given all the shit that went down, the collapse of the empire, if you will, he is thought of as this legend, and everyone loves Patrick and show Patrick on the Jumbotron. Everyone goes crazy. But that's not what it was like when he was playing. And I thought to myself, is this the same situation where, like, when the Jedi are around, like, what the fuck have they done for us? But as soon as they were gone, everyone saw how awful the Empire is. It's like, I kind of miss the Jedi.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
Wait, hold on. By the way, WVU grad. Hey, spoilers. I haven't gotten to that point of today's show. Are you talking about Levitard or are you talking about
talking
this?
about Levitard.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, what are you doing in here then?
I think that since the Jedi were the institution, and when we did the Acolyte, we loved clowning on how fucking impotent the Jedi Order was.
Yeah.
That I think there was definitely a overlooking of the Jedi and taking it for granted, and that only when it's gone do you appreciate them. But specifically with this Force healer, I mean,
oh my God, let's get
this lady was like, you know, she is level 1 Force abilities, and Cassian in particular is deeply distrustful of the Force, and she's basically treated like a witch.
You got to think about like the last, not even like a witch, like a scam artist over the last,
like a fortune
16, 17 years. How many times do you think people in the galaxy run across someone who claims to be a Force healer?
I guess a lot.
Just take their word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Was it Kumail Nanjiani's character in Obi-Wan? Like there must have been millions of these guys everywhere. Right? Like in the same way that you get a call, it's like, oh, we're from the IRS and your payment hasn't gone through. Like that shit. Like it must happen everywhere. So I got his trepidation. I kind of was confused about like how all these people were huddled around this woman. Also
it's a long line.
The way she spoke reminded me of the type of woman that Zach Harper would date.
Yeah,
crystals.
She walks right up to Zach Harper at a bar and says, "I sense the weight of things."
Yeah. Oh my God. What? How specific? The weight of things.
Things I can't see. Pain, fear, need. Most beings carry the things that shape them. They carry the past, but some, very few. Your pilot. They're gathering as they go. There's a purpose to it. He's a messenger.
Yeah, she didn't know he was a pilot until Bix said he's a pilot.
Yeah. Well, it's it's like the fortune teller is like, tell me something about yourself. Do you have a brother that you're trying to get in touch with? Like what blah, 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 blah. But I didn't need this, dude. I think this show I didn't like it at all. I thought I think the show in Rogue One, like the dose of the Force we get in Rogue One with
Vader.
With Chirrut. Well, with Vader, but I mean more just like
But Chirrut wasn't. He wasn't a Force user. He was merely Force sensitive.
Force sensitive, and he like studied the religion of it, like treated it like a religion. So like I liked
the
that.
wills, yeah.
But in this show, where it has been completely absent, like we do not even need to talk about it, for it to come in here, for her to basically say like, you're special, you're the messenger. Oh, we know what the messenger is because you helped send a message at the end of Rogue One.
I took it to be she's a scam artist. There's like, to me, I took it in the same way that Kumail Nanjiani pretended, and the same way that we thought that Jude Law for much of Skeleton Crew was a scam artist, right? Like, it's not real. Not real.
But it is real because A, she's right.
Well,
B, she walks right up to him. C, she heals his shoulder.
Does she heal the shoulder?
Yeah, he's like, it feels better. He doesn't want to admit it to Bix.
The scar is still there though. Like it doesn't.
Well, yeah, it's not like it's not 100%, but it helped. I thought it stood out a lot, and I thought it was like a little incongruous to the whole show, and I didn't need it. And I guess the reason that I wanted to tie it to Bix is because Bix believed the shit out of it, and I think that is one of the things that tipped Bix towards her decision.
And by the way, that's also why I believe that she's a scam artist. Because what's more yes, exactly. Because your girlfriend fell for the astrology, basically.
Should give him more money.
Yeah, exactly. Babe, you don't remember that astrologer? She told us that like we needed to, like, you're a messenger and all that shit.
You're a messenger. Like it was important. Remember?
It's funny, in an episode that had a literal massacre maze, I thought the most tension-filled part was episode 9, the whole will she, won't she give the speech, and how everyone is kind of like jostling for position. Luthen, who makes the mistake of revealing to her that, hey, your personal aide, he's my guy. And to which Mon does not like that. She fires him on the spot, right? We find out that Bail Organa, who's like trustworthy, obviously we know, and says, hey, my people will take you out, right? Turns out one of his people, I thought all three of them, to be honest with you, they all look suspicious as fuck, but one of them was an ISB agent, right? And then Cassian, the will he won't he of even taking on this mission, because he starts the episode saying, I'm fucking done.
And to be fair, he said that just about every episode.
Sure, but this one felt for real. Kalea tells him, like, you just gonna let her like be out there like unprotected, and the revelation that if Mon Mothma gets arrested, the whole rebellion collapses.
She's important, man.
She was important. Don't get me wrong, she's important. She is the leader politically of this movement. But I was just like, we can't find anyone else. Like Bail can't like kind of like slither his way into this shit. It's Mon or bust.
Yeah, I mean that's ballers. The stakes have never been higher type shit. It's like, we know it is because it is. It's because it
right.
She's the one in the caftan. Like that's. I think there's a cool show that we kind of dipped into occasionally with Coruscant politics and the Senate. I feel like that was less developed than it could have been. But
really,
that's only because it's like the Senate is fucking massive, dude, and it's like,
oh man,
hundreds of planets, hundreds of senators. Like,
to be honest, also with you, how cool was the whole Bail Organa gets out there and says, the last dude that talked about all the casualties and like we respect it, and he also said the word emergency a shit ton of times.
Time for a loophole fiasco. Like,
and none of y'all said shit. Nobody fucking objected. So since it's an emergency, I'm going to enact this emergency policy to bring on the senior senator from Chandrilla. And then when she goes and you see that shit locked behind her, Dude, goosebumps on that shit. Like I was like, oh, they can't even stop her anymore. And then you got like that dude back at the ISB was like, shut her shit down.
Yep.
That was the one point I didn't get.
Power.
As he's running over to shut her shit down,
Yeah,
there's like a Lobot and another person. They're like, yeah, we fixed the lock. And were those people in on it, or was it just
they had to have been
a happy circumstance?
They had to have been. There's no accidents in Luthen's Star Wars. I think my favorite, like in terms of, once again, exposition being minimal and on point, is how do we know that Luthen is right about there being a double agent in Bale's 3-person crew when the chick, for some dumbass reason, calls back to the office, I guess to get more instructions.
Yes, she did.
They say Jung's agent is on the line. Jung is Lonnie, Luthen's spy. So he told Luthen that she was flipped and that he had a person embedded in this crew, and that's how Luthen knew. It's like it's one person of the trail of information that leads back to Luthen, because Bale's like, I haven't met these people, but I trust them. I have to. Like,
got you.
And they haven't met each other, and like we don't even know who put them together, but like Lonnie was tapped in on it. So that was just another great fucking detail.
I loved how, by the way, Cassian got around the driver who's getting ready to like intercept, and he's like, "What's his name? Cloris? Cloris! I found her."
And also the line with Erskine, and he's like, "Don't fire him. They might send someone smarter."
Oh yeah.
So driver, good. Yeah. I mean, I didn't. Also, Mon is still kind of like hopelessly naive about everything throughout. Like the whole thing with her right-hand man Erskine being a Luthen spy for 2 years. It's like, okay, Luthen has saved your ass like multiple times. Like, he's the puppeteer, even though you don't like him personally, and he killed your best friend Takoma.
So I think that's
he's
why
he's still taking care of you.
He's taking care of the mission. I understand where her trepidation comes from, because she's like, Takoma helped us, and the moment you saw Takoma as a threat, his ass was toast. You sent your murder lesbian upon her. Shout out to what's my man name from the chat?
The guy who said murder lesbian last time?
Yeah, who called sent up murder lesbian? Ian Johnson, was it? I think it was Ian something. Right. Shout out to Ian in the chat. But yeah, like I could absolutely see how at that moment she has to feel super expendable. Right? Like, you like Takoma helped us fund this shit. I saw someone up here say, "Oh well, it's because she's funding this shit. That's why." But like, I'm like, yo, if I'm her, I see the people that Luthen has sacrificed along the way. Why do I think I'm above all that for Luthen? Probably not. And by the way, she did an ass off job of having her voice tremble and like, I've never been more afraid than right now, right? So
yeah, and I mean, and Erskine's still a real one, even though he got fired. Still held it down.
Down for the cause. Yep,
did his job. The Luthen. I know we got more to talk about from what happened, but the last 3 feel like gravy to me. Like, I feel like we did it. Like, I feel like we've accomplished.
We did everything.
The story. So
we really have.
I'm really curious to see what they do with the last 3. I mean, I feel like we'll see the Death Star and we'll see some more Krennic, but where Luthen goes and how they close this Luthen arc, because it has to close.
He has to die. That's one. Number 2, this is just my gut feeling. They're not going to just look. Saw Gerrera was such a great character in this series, in Rebels, hell, even in Bad Batch. Clone Wars, absolutely. They and Rogue One. There's got to be at least one more Saw Gerrera scene. And if I had my druthers, I want Saw to kill Luthen.
Ooh.
In the ultimate act of I'm crazy and I'm paranoid, and I think you're fucking with me. And maybe in order to add a little more validity to it, make Luthen fuck with him. Because Luthen fucks with people. Luthen likes it. Hey man, he fucks around, but he has never found out. I would love for Luthen to fuck around and to find out that Saw has had it up to here with him.
Yeah, that's interesting. I kind of like that. I mean, I definitely would love one more scene between the two of them. If it ends in death, it ends in death. Shout out to Clea for taking her buns down, going straightened hair in this trilogy here. Do you want to hone in a little bit more on the massacre, or do you want to stay in this 9th episode?
We could talk about the massacre. Like it. I thought the cool thing was, again, aristocrat dudes whose name escapes me. What's the name of the house?
Rylance?
House Rylance. Like Rylance figuring it out before they even marched on it, right? Soon as he saw they're doing these barricades and shit, he's like, they're doing this shit on purpose. They're trying to like instigate to then like just kill the maximum number of people. And he's trying to communicate this to everybody, and no one's with it, right? Because they're like, our voice needs to be heard and all that fucking bullshit, right? The multiple like storyline within the square. You have Syril, you have Dedra looking down from her perch, you have Cassian trying to assassinate Dedra from down below. You have Will trying to find Cassian. You have Rylance's daughter, who's kind of swept up in this. And then you have the unexpected, the I don't know how to call them, the non-stormtrooper soldiers.
The inexperienced troopers, the crisis the crisis specialists under the command of Captain Kaido, who just wants a comfy ride home. That's all he cares about. And you're the finger and I'm the trigger, Dedra. Still your finger pulling this trigger, but
which is a dope line that made me have to think twice. I was like, wait a second. Wait, does that mean she's in charge? No, yeah, she's in charge. He's just said, hey man, you gotta squeeze me, because she was asking him permission, like, is this what you like? And he's like, it's you the one in charge. And they're like, oh yeah, got it.
But yeah, they change the barriers, they invite people in, the Gores, they storm the streets, they're singing their national anthem, they're singing their songs. Carol Rylance hopelessly quotes Admiral Akbar, it's a trap.
Yep.
To no avail.
Well,
but then all of the
technically Admiral Akbar quotes her.
It's true. Just like eventually Cassian and then Jin quote the bellhop when he says rebellions are built on hope.
Built on hope, and that's the one.
You didn't like. I like that one.
I didn't like, because if it had been Cassian who said it in Rogue One, then I would have been like, oh, cool. Like that's where he got it from. In the same way that Woody Harrelson's character in Solo is the reason why Han shot first, right? Then I would have respected it. But it's like, it must have been so weird for Cassian to be like, hold up, what you like? I remember there's some dude at some hotel I stayed at once upon a time who said that shit. It just didn't make sense to me.
I don't know. I liked it, but because he did say it to Jin. He said it to Jin, and then she said it back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. We'll give them your name and hope that gets us a meeting with Saw. Jin says, hope? Yeah, rebellions are built on hope. And then she brings it back in the big speech at the end to get everybody to suit up for the mission. But they draw everybody in, and then they send the noobs out there for no reason. Just go out there with your riot shields. We got to get to this point. And then they have the sniper fire the first shot, unleashing chaos, and all of the reporters.
Oh, we haven't talked about
the talking points.
We haven't talked about that. We haven't talked about that.
Like Partagaz gives talking points to Dedra, and then they're parroted back by the reporters.
We haven't talked about that. Episode 7 starts with it. We get it back in episode 8. But episode 7 starts with the multiple, like everyone's out on the square, and you got CNN and MSNBC and all of them. They're all doing the shit. I love that shit so much. I love that Cassian has a press credential, and he represents Mid-Rim News, which is just a fucking hilarious name.
Cassian's got a podcast, man. That's all he's got.
By the way, I love when he got to the Senate and the guy was like, I don't have a fucking seat for you, but you're gonna have to float, which is basically my experience every time I go to All-Star game. I'm floating. I don't have a seat. I'm just out there fucking just walking around the court and shit. So I like all of this shit. It had, for me, it resonated a dose of realism that I don't know would resonate with literally any other human being.
Yeah, it was great. And you get Syril's mom watching it and
watching the news,
propagandized. I mean, it was cohesive. Like the what were the two guys from the Krennic meeting? The propaganda guys,
Ministry of Enlightenment.
Yeah, Ministry of Enlightenment doing their job, man. They locked it down. But yeah, it was an impressive, like, orchestrated, and I like how when Partagaz calls Dedra and is like, you got 48 hours. This shit's going down, whether you want it or not. We don't care about covering up our tracks anymore. We're getting sloppy. Like, the drills are on the surface.
And he's like, and we've already established enough, like, Gorman, bad Empire. Good. We tried, right? Which is the same shit. You talk about it being echoed in the newscast. How about the dude on the Senate floor? I was like, hey man, we gave them all the chances and shit. Like, they just kept it, like, shitting on the Empire. And I'm like, oh damn.
It's so widespread, yeah. And then there's episode 8 ends with Drina with the plea for help that I'm assuming nobody heard because of Imperial communications blockade. It just goes out to nobody about every devastating thing that happened. So there's one thing that I want to lock in on that really impressed me so much about the show is the throwaway scene where Vel finds the blaster.
Oh,
she finds the blaster. Whose blaster is this? Melshi's in the crowd.
Melshi leans over like, hey, was it? Oh, that's Melshi leaning his head over. Yep.
So did you recognize the blaster? I mean,
I didn't.
So that's Syril's blaster. It's because they're really focusing in on the logo on the butt of the gun. It's Preox Morlana. So it's a blaster from Preox Morlana that belonged to Syril, took it to Ferrix. Cassian took it from him on Ferrix. He took it to Aldani. That's where Ebon Moss Backrack is like, oh, this guy's a cop. Like, this fucking idiot. Why has he got this gun? And so Vel knows it from there. Then he takes it to Neamos. He stashes it in a box. Then when he goes to 5, he and Melshi break out. He gives him the gun. Melshi carried it this entire time to the rebel base to Yavin. And it's like, god damn, man. Like, Preox Morlana branding popping up in episode 9 after all this time and all this shit. And it's like it's so considered and so thorough. Like, because this scene, I'm like, why are they okay? I think I know that's Melshi, but why are we focusing on this gun? How the hell are we supposed to know?
That's the part I couldn't figure out. I was like, I'm looking at him like, okay, they really want us to see this gun and the logo on the gun, and I was like, what's the What's the significance? And like that makes sense now. Because at first I was like, "That's Cassian's gun," but I'm like, "Didn't Cassian lose his gun when he got arrested?" But I forgot about the whole putting it on the
with it was
the
in the
Miami
box
hotel room with the credits
and the diary.
and the diary,
The
and the
manifesto.
manifesto. Yep.
Yeah. So just the attention to detail
And by the
continuously
way,
blows me away.
and shout out to the recast, or not the recasting, but the bringing back of my guy, whose name escapes me, but he was in Rogue One, and he was the one who says Jin Urso, da da da, like just giving her
Draven.
like
General Draven.
Yeah, giving her absolute shit about everything. For him to be around, brought back
here
to
he is basically like a parking lot attendant.
Yeah, you can't do that shit. You can't go.
Hey, you guys can't just go on a mission whenever you want. Watch me. The K2SO thing, another thing I liked about that. So he picks up the droid on Gorman, cut in half, brings it back. They had to emphasize that it wasn't reprogramming the software, but that they hardware engineered impulse suppression into him to suppress his base protocols. I like that little detail.
Yeah.
And then just the that when they're escaping, Cassian and Mon escaping the Senate. I'm not sure I can do this. Welcome to the rebellion. This is how it is every day, man. We're never sure.
Yeah. Shout out to naming your episode titles off of like cool lines. Although again, I might be the best episode title of the entire season so far, at least. I can't think of them beating it. It's still Who Are You? Because it was such a genuine, like, yo, who the fuck are you, bro? Like, because he beat him up, like Cassian sensed this is personal the way this guy's attacking me. This ain't no Empire versus Rebellion. It's like, yo, you mad about some shit? Like, did I fuck your girl? That's basically what the Who Are You was, right? Amazing.
WVU grad, I learned today the manifesto from season 1 Cassian is actually in possession of in Rogue One. Yeah, I mean lines that were written in that manifesto. Nemec is his name. In Nemec's manifesto are fundamental to shaping who Cassian becomes. It's genius because at the time when he's on Aldhani, he's definitely 1.5 feet out the door.
Yeah, no, he's just a guy who's here for a paycheck.
Yeah,
he says it. He admits it. I'm just here for a check. And like the death of Nemec and the words in the manifesto that he reads afterwards are what really convert him to the point where when he sees Luthen on the Hallcraft and he says, either kill me or bring me in. Or as Luthen says, kill me or bring me in. Isn't that what you said? Right? So, and that's what sets the events in motion, obviously, of years later. Is there anything else, Maze, that we have not covered from these 3 episodes?
Let's do some chat questions. Does Amin now accept that the Gormans are French coded unless Hebrew coded after 789?
Why? Because they got massacred? That's supposed to make you think they're more French? Like, what? Guys might want to do a little homework there.
The roofs were zinc, like the roofs of Paris. That's another detail for you.
Sure.
I haven't watched yet, but apparently when they call for help during the massacre, they ask, Harlow, are you out there? Shouts to Uncle Harlow. That's from WVU grad.
Wait, who asked that? Saying like Drina asks that?
Maybe. I don't know. Follow up in the chat, WVU grad. Adam Palau, is it a hot take to say episode 8 and 9 was the best 2 hours of Star Wars content? I mean, we said at the beginning the whole show.
Yeah.
But like, were these your 2 favorite episodes, or like, was this your favorite 3-episode arc? I mean,
no, it wasn't. But I enjoyed it massively. Was it my favorite? No, I won't even. I don't know if I would even be over the first 3. Just a combination of.
I think Aldhani to me still really hits. The prison is pretty fucking tough to beat. I mean, it's very tonally different because it's really locked in on the prison.
It's a prison.
You're saying the first 3 of this season?
Yes, the first 3 of this season really did it for me. The last 3 of last season did it for me as well. The whole Ferric shit.
The Ferrics with the Marva speech.
Yeah. And maybe trying to think, maybe 4, 5, 6 of this season. We get Saw Gerrera. We get the political intrigue, including Clea trying to remove the listening device.
Mm-hmm.
Krennic is in 2 episodes. Well, he's in at least 4, 5, 6. Like he's in there unexpectedly. Like to me, the best, if you want to say the best 3 episodes, because episode 7, I liked it, but it wasn't.
It was
on the
set
same
up.
level.
It was all set up. It was like we
Yeah.
got to get you situated because it's been another year and we got to integrate all this stuff. I mean, I think that's why he was locking in on 8, 9. But
good question from Hurricane. Do we feel bad for Dedra at all?
Yeah, a little bit. Not about losing her dude, because that was. I mean, I feel bad for me that we don't get another Dedra, Syril, Edie dinner, because that's all I want. But yeah, I mean, Dedra and her fucking amazing scowl that she does all the time when she puts on, it's a hell of a scowl.
Her face goes like this.
She was buckling, man. I mean, I'm curious to see where she's at after this time jump. You know, like she clearly is gonna get that promotion. Like, what's next for her? Bobby McMillian. Is there a possibility that Bix could be force sensitive and that's why she leaves?
Absolutely not. We got one scam artist.
Did y'all feel for Syril? Yes, we did. We talked about that, I think, before you were on, Raphael.
Yeah. Let me ask this question to you, Maze, about this is a question not about like Dedra and her feeling the way she felt or whatever, but do you think Syril's mom is gonna find out exactly the circumstances and blame Dedra for it?
Nah, it feels like she's exit stage right at this point. I don't think you can have Syril mom scenes without Syril. I think that is a little neutralized, and I think we can never meet Uncle Harlow. So I think that's just got to stay off camera.
Okay, like Bob Sacamano in Seinfeld, and Lomax and all of other Kramer friends. What else? Let's see. Who else are we wondering about? So now I'm trying to think about like the connection, because the year jump really does. It's kind of like a very innovative style of storytelling. Of these 3 episodes all happen around the same time, and then we get a year jump, and so there's a lot of shit that happened in Rebels that happened between 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, and now we're gonna get another year jump. I'll ask it again. Will we see any other legacy Star Wars characters?
I mean, who else could we bring in from the rebellion?
Ahsoka, the Ghost Crew.
I mean, they had the Ghost Crew cameo teed up because that's where Mon gets pivoted to, and they chose not to do it. So I feel like those have to be out because of that. Mark Pietris and Adam Palau say that Dedra's got to be on the Death Star, implied that she's there
on
during
the
the
plans, or she's there on the facility.
Well, I would imagine that she gets promoted to Krennic department, and then there's Adam Palau is saying she's on it when it blows up. Mark Pietris says Tarkin. Do we see Tarkin?
I mean, we've gotten a lot of Tarkin references, that's for sure. Right?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Yularen again. We get a shout out to him.
We heard him.
Yeah.
We heard his voice. We didn't see him though. I mean, we didn't see him this episode.
Tarkin, do they recast, or do they do that creepy CGI shit again?
No, I mean, like based on what they did for Bail Organa, I'm guessing they're not recasting anyone. they'll probably just not, like, he'll always either be off camera or off, like, or on the comms, which again, I won't lie, could we not have gotten Jimmy Smith to do just, it didn't have to appear, can he just, hey guys,
can't afford him, man, can't afford him.
It's like, that's his quote.
That's his quote, man. They couldn't meet it. They couldn't spend 76 million per three block episode. It was too much. That was the line. I mean,
you want to see Krennic one more time? Shout out to
We'll definitely see Krennic. Like I expect a hearty dose of Krennic because he's basically had like 3 scenes, so I would expect some actual like Krennic centric stuff. I mean I don't really want to see Vader or Palpatine or Tarkin or Leia or and I don't want to see Galen or Jin. Like we wouldn't see Jin, but I guess my question for you, Amin, is do you think they stick to the strict timeline, or do you think that they do kind of a like accelerated closing of the loop, like connecting the characters that we know move on to where they are?
So every year it starts with like, I think like 5 BBY or 4 BBY, and then every year is a year jump, meaning that like it's supposed to jump a year ahead, and this last arc that we're going to see 10, 11, 12 will lead us directly up to the opening scene where Cassian is meeting that dude that he ends up killing on that weird ass like kind of marketplace bizarre planet, right? So no, I don't think it's going to be outpaced, so to speak. I think it's going to be right on the right timeline, pretty much.
Yeah. All right. Well, then let's do this real quick as our last thing. Luthen, he's dead or die. Not dead? Gotta dead.
Dead.
Gotta die.
For sure. For sure. This dude, number one, way too important of a figure to survive. And the same way as Saw, right? Luthen and Saw to me are peers. They go about things in different ways, but they're peers. And Saw could not survive. And really, no one in Rogue One, we found out, could survive. And still allow that, like, the trilogy to make sense, right? Number two, even if that wasn't the case, Luthen is such a dick, right? He has burnt so many goddamn... There's no way. Like, the idea that he would survive would defy expectations. Like, this guy made it through the whole shit? Hell no. You can't fuck that many people over constantly escaping, and just put on a wig and smile and laugh and be like, oh, like, I thought one of you bastards was gonna buy it. Like you can't do the George Costanza with the Houston Astros shit and just survive. Even Costanza fucking ended up not working for the Yankees. Luthen's gonna die. He's gonna die. I don't know if he's gonna die at 7, 8, or 9, or 9, 10, 11, or 12, but he will die.
Clea
has a chance.
Yeah, I kind of think she could live. Vel's got to go. Like, Vel's got to go because I feel that, like, suicidal, like, fuck all this shit. Yep.
I just, die for this.
She's gonna be a murder lesbian in the afterlife for sure.
Yes.
Do we see Perrin again? I was kind of surprised we didn't see Perrin at all.
I wanted to see Perrin. I wanted at least like a relationship argument or whatever. Are we gonna see?
It'd be kind of hard at this point, but like I would like to see him one more time.
What's gonna happen to the daughter? That's the other question.
She's chilling. I was talking to my mom about it, and she was like, "Yeah, when they had that big fight, and she's like, I wish you were just a drunk bitch at my wedding." Like that was a rap. That was a rap on Leda, dude. She's like, I wish you were drunk. I'm gonna go get married to this scam artist's son who's a complete nincompoop, and I'm gonna go live my life. Yeah. Dedra, does she die?
Dedra's dying, not on Rogue One. Not on the Death Star. Okay. Dedra's dying before. Dedra's like, she's a target. Like the rebellion has deemed her like, yo, we have to kill her ass.
Lonnie Jung.
Lonnie survives. Lonnie survives.
He's dying, dude.
You think he? I don't even think he comes up again.
I think he does. I think he's going to be connected to Luthans. I think the spy is going to be found, and he is going to inadvertently give up Luthen, because that is the strongest connection to the source.
You think Lonnie is gonna like turn state's witness base?
I don't think he's gonna flip. I think he's gonna get caught. Maybe like someone will spy him on the secret elevator ride. Partagaz will live.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Wilman.
Wilman's.
Is he already dead? Like I can't believe
Wilman yeah. We're gonna come back now. Wilman didn't survive his injuries. Some shit like that.
And I think that's. I mean, Saw we know lives. Krennic we know lives. Or Bail we know lives.
Raphael Armand wants to bring up B2 Emo, who, by the way, they left on fucking Mineral. It's just
he's still there. Yeah. Yep. Robert Strickle. What about that little red stuttering droid? B2 Emo, say his name. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that was a series wrap on B2 Emo, unfortunately. I think that's just about everybody that isn't accounted for.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that's a hearty amount of deaths still on the board. I mean
that again by the makers of Rogue One that killed the whole cast pretty much. So it's like, I mean, it's again, when you are tasked with telling a story that fits in a particular period of time, after which the known history has no memory of these, feels like more and more remarkable people, there's only one possible solution. They got to go, brother. They can't be around. They got to go. Every single last one of them.
WVU grad dropping spoilers in the chat.
I don't want to see
Mundus says Bix ? I mean, do we see her again?
No, Bix is alive, baby. Bix gotta be alive. Need Bix to live. Hey, Hayden Roach in the chat asked, Amin, did you finish Jedi Survivor? Any thoughts before you guys wrap up today? I did finish Jedi Survivor. There's a huge film noir in that one. I don't know how many of you guys are still playing it or want to play it or whatever. There's a huge film noir in that one. The only part I didn't like, Hayden, is that he fights Vader again. That's a spoiler alert, but not really. He fights Vader again, and I'm like, look, oh no, he doesn't fight Vader. Someone else fights Vader. Excuse me. You're controlling someone else, and they fight Vader. I don't know. Like, can't be that many people surviving an encounter with this dude. Not on straight up like boo, 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 like sword fighting. It's got to be like, and it's got to be like the way Cassian and Wilman survived K2SO. Because like something crashed into him and knocked his ass out. Not because on the strength of I held my own in fucking lightsaber play. I didn't like that. But other than that, love Survivor. It's a fun game. It's, I don't know. I'm not really, sometimes some of these video game terms escape me. Is it open world? I don't know. I know you can like just keep fucking around forever, like Red Dead Redemption after you finish the story. But I enjoyed it thoroughly. I really liked it. And it did the thing that I wanted Fallen Order to do, which is expand upon like 2-3 planets. I wanted more planets. I wanted a bigger map. I wanted to be able to mess around a lot. I love being on Coruscant. I wish there was a bigger map on Coruscant to fuck around. But overall, I loved Survivor. I haven't played Outlaws yet. Shout out to Charmin TP in the chat. I want to give it a swing, probably this summer.
Well, there you have it.
That's going to do it for Darth Amin's Rule of 2. We'll be back next week. We'll do 10, 11, 12. And you know what we'll also do, Maze? Tales of the Underworld. We didn't get to it this week, but we'll get to it next week. We'll give it a watch. Or maybe, should we do it after we're done with Andor?
I think after, man. Let Andor breathe.
All right, let's do Andor 10, 11, 12, and then the week after that we'll give you guys a bonus episode. And we'll do Tales of the Underworld, which follows the backstory of Cad Bane and the front story, basically what happens to Asajj Ventress after Bad Batch. So it's two different directions, but two bounty hunters, underworld people, which, that's probably going to be the next kind of Star Wars unexplored space that they're going to get to with these TV shows. For Darth Cornpuzzle, I'm Darth Amin, reminding you that who are you?